The second wall on Colony Dome for 7A, on the storm-swept moon of Valafur. Everyone knew two things. The atmosphere outside the domes could peel flesh from bone in minutes. Humans built things. Strangely, Carrie Fon, a Yulthian engineer of Noble Hatchline 12, knew both facts intimately. His residence pod, a smooth organic structure grown from biocrystal, sat neatly next to a human prefab shelter. Kereth had always appreciated the humans for their trade, their strange humor, and their habit of cooking meat so aggressively that it smoked like a failed reactor coil. But he had also concluded, firmly, that humans had no architectural taste whatsoever, which was why, on a quiet teal morning under Dome 47A, he stood outside his home, staring at his human neighbor with open disbelief. Elias Marlowe was building another wall, a second one, right behind his first, a thick, ugly, reinforced thing. Kereth tilted his crested head. "You know," he said politely, "the first wall was already unnecessary." Elias didn't look up. He was tightening a bolt the size of Kereth's wrist, face smudged with dust, sleeves rolled up, humming some ancient earth tune about sunshine that Valafur never had. "It's not a wall," Elias grunted. "It's a brace." Kereth's frills fluttered with amusement. "Oh, right, that's what you called the first wall, too." Elias just grinned, that human grin that showed far too many teeth. Kereth lifted a recorder bead and snapped a holler. "For documentation, of course," he said. "In case future archaeologists want to study primitive building techniques." Elias laughed. "You do that, and I'll finish before the noon cycle." The whisper under the dome to Kereth. The dome above them was alive. Every Yulthian felt the subtle hum of energy fields, the faint vibrations of pressure cycles, the gentle shifting of structural lattice. The dome was stable, perfectly so. The last inspection showed a 99.7% integrity rating. The human's double wall was ridiculous. But Elias Marlowe wasn't just any human. He had come to Valafur after a career in orbital recovery operations, known for improvising solutions that made robots cry and supervisors faint. He had also, Kereth thought, a worrying affinity for stubbornness. Carrie tapped his crest, lightly a Yulthian sign of restraint. "Elias, why another structure? The dome isn't going to fall." Elias stood, wiping his hands. He nodded upward. "Something's wrong." Kereth frowned. "No readings report that." "Doesn't matter," Elias said. "I can hear it." Humans couldn't sense dome harmonics the way Yulthians could, but they had their own senseless, refined, but uncanny. Elias had once predicted a minor quake 90 seconds before it hit. Still, Kereth waved a dismissive claw. "You are worrying over nothing. If the dome were unstable, I would feel it." Elias simply shrugged. "Then let's hope you never do." The first sign 3 days later, Kereth felt it. It started as a tremoran, off-pattern, a discordant flutter in the dome's pulse. Yulthians felt structures the way humans felt music. The dome's hum was supposed to be harmonious. This was wrong. He pressed a palm to the wall of his home. The vibration stuttered, weak, faint, dying. Carrie froze. He ran outside. Elias was already outside his shelter, tightening one of the final cross supports on the second wall. "So," Elias said calmly, "you feel it now." Kereth opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "How long have you known?" he demanded. "About a week." "A week. And you didn't alert the council?" Elias jerked his chin toward the dome meters overhead. You think they would have listened? They'd just run calculations again, declare everything within tolerance, and send me a pamphlet about stress management. Kerith flared his frills in involuntary reaction. Humans are unbelievable. Elias just smirked. We try. The storm that should never have hit Falafars, storms were famous for and razor-sharp. Microparticulates, driven at impossible speeds by magnetic turbulence. The domes were designed to withstand them, but not this one. The alert sirens wailed. A once-in-500 years electromagnetic burst was incoming. Every other dome on Valafar shut down external systems and braced Kerith's dome. Flickered. You have got to be kidding me. Kerith screeched. The central support node glitched. Energy fields destabilized. The dome sagged slightly, but unmistakably. Citizens screamed. Shields failed in patches. The edges of the dome began to ripple. Kerith stared upward in horror. It's the harmonic collapse. It's happening. Elias was already grabbing him. Into the second wall, now. Kerith hesitated, a heartbeat too long, outside the dome. The storm struck. It sounded like the world being shredded. Shards of magnetized particle matter slammed the outer dome, ripping through microfractures, sending shock waves through the whole structure. The dome buckled like a drumskin hit by a giant fist. Kerith stumbled as Elias practically shoved him behind the brace wall system. What is this made of? Kerith gasped. Steel, carbon fiber, and a little something I call human paranoia. Elias said. The first wall took the hit. It dented, but it held. Then the second wall absorbed the rest of the force. Distributing it downward through reinforced pylons, Elias had sunk deep into the habitation. Rock. Kerith stared at the structure in disbelief. This is genius. Elias tightened another brace. It's ugly, though. Ugly, Kerith gasped, and beautiful. To collapse the dome failed. Not all at once. Not explosively. But something worse happened. The harmonics flatlined. The energy shield died from the top downward, cracking like ice. The upper third of the dome caved inward. Screams echoed across the colony. Panels fell. Glass-like shards rained like deadly snow. But the debris that fell near section didn't reach the ground. The second, wall braced with cross supports and shock absorbers, took the load. Kerith felt tears rising. Yolthians didn't cry with water, but with bioluminescent streaks along their frills. Elias noticed. Hey, we're alive. You saved all of Sector 9, Kerith whispered. Elias only tightened his wrench. Not done yet. Human ingenuity. Yolthian, Pride Elias, moved non-stop patching supports, welding cracks, reinforcing his ridiculous double wall until it held not just his home, but the homes behind it. Kerith followed, helping where he could. Yolthians were agile, precise. Humans were strong, adaptive. Together, they performed architectural surgery by dawn-sight. Sector 9 was the only part of Dome for 7A that hadn't completely collapsed. Emergency engineers from the capital arrived, stunned by what they saw, a crude human-made brace, holding an entire sector together. Councillor Navarra herself approached Elias. You built this. Her tone was somewhere between awe and disbelief. Elias shrugged. Just didn't want my neighbor's house falling on mine. Kerith stepped forward, frills glowing with emotion. No, he saved hundreds of lives. Without his second wall, we would have been vaporized in the collapse. We owe him everything. The council recorded the entire structure for engineering analysis. Elias became a hero. Kerith became his most vocal supporter, and the phrase, "build a second wall," became a new proverb on Valafar, meaning, trust the human. They see what we don't days later. Dome was rebuilt with improved harmonics using design principles, borrowed from Ilias's improvised brace. Engineers argued about it for weeks, but everyone agreed on one thing: humans were crazy and brilliant. Kerith visited Elias one evening, bringing a tray of grilled krell meat as an offering of friendship. "I apologize," Kerith said, "for laughing." Elias clinked his cup against his neighbor's. "You don't have to apologize. Just help me build the third wall." Kerith froze. "Third wall?" Elias grinned. "Never know when you'll need it." Kerith stared, then burst into Yolthian laughter. "Humans," he said, "are impossible." Yup. They laughed together under the newly supported dome, stronger now, and standing proudly because of a human's stubborn instinct to overbuild.